Hi everyone, welcome to our Expert Edition webinar series. Thank you all for joining today. My name is Laura Thompson and I'm one of the representatives from Callison Professional. Thank you to everyone who completed the questions at the beginning. Dr. Sister will be going through the results a bit later on. Just so you all know, all of you are on mute for now. Following the presentation, we'll be having a 15-minute Q&A session. So if you do have any questions, please hold them until the end, or you can write them in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. If you do have a question later on, there'll be an opportunity to click the raise hand button where we can make you go live. And if you see a question in the Q&A section that you would like the answer to, then please give it a thumbs up, then it will be brought to the top and we can answer it for you. So without further ado, let me introduce you to our speaker. Dr. Daniel Sister is a world-renowned cosmetic, anti-aging and hormone specialist. He is responsible for introducing more than 10 key aesthetic treatments to the UK. Dr. Sister has traveled the globe lecturing and training doctors on procedures and has had articles published in many prestigious medical journals, including the UK and International Journal of Medical Aesthetics and Anti-Aging, as well as the World Journal of Aesthetics and Anti-Aging Medicine. Dr. Sister is a pioneer of platelet-rich plasma and authored the first book on the topic, titled Platelet-Rich Plasma, The New Frontier in Regenerative and Aesthetic Medicine. So Dr. Sister, I will now pass over to you.
Thank you. Okay, is it working now? Still see the same slide. Anyway, well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, whatever, wherever you are. I'm very pleased that we're going to spend some time together. And thank you, Laura, for introducing me like that. Yes, I've done a lot of work on plasma, platelet-rich plasma, and so on. I'm not the pioneer because it was discovered in 1953, and even though I'm quite old, I'm not that old, but I've been introducing and changing the treatment protocols. I can't change the slide. Okay, so a little about my life that will go fast because that's not the most interesting. Graduated in 1973, so it's quite some time ago, and I did practice in different places, in Paris, in Los Angeles, in 7 years, in Ireland, Norway, Guernsey. I'm still in London full time, and I do a lot of training and lecturing for different products for plasma, for thread lift and fat graft and so on. And I'm very pleased with the Callison, and I will tell you why a little later. Okay, so oops, that goes too fast. I'm a member of the General Medical Council here, the British College of Aesthetic Medicine, New York Academy of Science, the equivalent of the health regulator in Norway. And you can see different redress scheme and beauty campaign and safety in beauty and so on. And as Laura said, I did introduce quite a lot of treatment in the UK the past years, even though I'm not getting one penny out of them. I have absolutely no financial involvement in any of those. Trying to change the slide. Okay. So, is that the one? Yes, so next thing. We are facing a lot of advertising and a lot of things in the press. We are an aging society. Yes, we know that, even though maybe after COVID it will be a younger society, but we're not there. But we're still an aging society in general. We live longer and we still want to look as good as possible and as young as possible because we compete on the marketplace. And over the past 20 years, 30 years, a lot of treatment came to help us, from botulinum toxin to laser to radio frequency to different type of cosmetic. But I consider, and I'm certain, that stem cells will be the real future of medicine in general. And for everything. It's even, again, tested now in the treatment of COVID from fat. But that's a fact. We are an aging society. And the fake news is we have a lot, thousands, millions of cream, lotion, potion everywhere on the market with the most outrageous claim, unproved. And in terms of cosmetics, there's something called magic dust. Magic dust in marketing means that they say something and you understand something else. Example, vitamin C is a very strong antioxidant. We all agree on that. My product contains a lot of vitamin C. You understand that this product containing a lot of vitamin C must be a very strong antioxidant. No, as soon as you open the jar, it's oxidized and there is no more active vitamin C in it. Magic dust. That product was medically proven to be efficient. It just need one doctor to sign off to be able to write medically approved. Those are what I call marketing tricks and fake news. We have to make the difference between the real product, the good product, and there are some, and what is just, well, marketing and cosmetic. So, growth factors and stem cells. I will go a little later on the plasma. There is a lot of growth factors. The plasma, basically, when you take someone's blood, you spin it, and with the gravity, you would have the red cells at the bottom of the tube, then a fraction which is called the platelet-rich plasma, because it contains more platelets, and then a fraction called platelet-poor plasma, because it contains less platelets. Fine, and for a long time, we were using only the platelet-rich fraction, which gave the name PRP, platelet-rich plasma. Again, it was the two first growth factors were discovered in 1953. Dr. Marx and Dr. Renat are working on it since the 90s, so I'm just coming along them. What we discover now that even in the platelet-poor plasma, there is other growth factors and stem cells. So when we use the plasma, we're using not only the growth factor, but the stem cells. And that's what interested me from the start between what I was doing with plasma and what Callison was offering with their product, trying to see if there is some kind of combination that makes it both better or more efficient. So when you take the blood, it's a very small procedure. You just take 20 mils, 10 mils of blood and spin it, and then you have the plasma and different way to inject the different protocols. And we did a study to see if the Callison, the advanced cord lining topical, would be enhancing the effect of the plasma procedure. So you have one treatment that is done in the office, and the patient is living after that. And is there any way that we can make that the medical treatment done in the medical clinic longer and more efficient on the long time? So Cell Research Corporation, parent company of Callison, it's a group of companies that are doing a lot of research, and they are working on stem cell from the umbilical cord lining, specific type of umbilical cord lining. They have their technology is patented in 42 countries, and they are the leader in cord lining stem cell for regenerative medicine and therapy. It's a company based in Singapore, and they're very thorough and are working there. So, what do we say with Callison? What do they say with Callison? It is scientifically proven evidence of skin regeneration. So if you remember, not that fast. I didn't change that. I want the previous slide. Thank you. What I said before, This one is scientifically proven, not marketing when one doctor somewhere has to sign over something. We have a lot of medical evidence, different studies by different doctors in different countries, different protocols. So when we say scientifically proven, in vitro, in vivo, signed by different medical clinics, we know that it is real science. Okay, umbilical cord lining. There are different types of stem cells, mesenchymal stem cells, epithelial stem cells. The first one, the mesenchymal, they can differentiate into different variety of cell type, including what is important for us in terms of dermatologists is the fibroblasts and the skin in the skin dermis. Epithelial also will be able to regenerate the skin and the lining cell, keratinocyte, and so on. So it's a complete, interesting product, I would say, if we can call product umbilical cord. And on the side, you have the studies that were published in different places, in Hong Kong, in Texas. So it's not just one guy. Can change the slide, Nick? Oh. So, Callison, their motto is, the media is a message. What it is, it's a mix of protein secreted by the cord lining stem cells. Fine. And that mix will direct the cell, which basically is a growth factor, and the stem cell are just giving orders for cells to do something. They will give the order to behave in a useful manner. They will send signal to the correct cell, recipient skin cell, to increase the glycoprotein, hyaluronic acid for the fullness and the hydration. They will encourage the cell mobility, so they can move in specific direction, helping to close wounds. And it will activate the cell to divide and to restore a good turnover. And again, there is some research paper on that. So, computer is behaving weirdly. Okay. Okay, I can't have the previous one. Callison has done a lot of studies in vitro and in vivo. And in vitro, the results show that increased epidermal proliferation, it accelerates the wound repair, increased epidermal and dermal fullness, and increased expression of glycoprotein from fibroblasts. Fine. So here you can see on the graph day 1, day 2, 4, 6, 7, and you can see that within a week, 42% of more skin cell growth. That's in vitro. So it's an evidence base. It proved that the proliferation, the epidermal cell turnover is definitely increased within a week, 42% within a week. And the aged skin keratinocyte culture in different concentration of Callison to see which one would be more effective, prove each time that it makes a huge difference. The skin cell responded very significantly to the Callison exposure and an increased growth and proliferation compared to the control, which is on the other color on the graph. Again, in vitro, you can see here you have 4 little square, and again, it's in 40 hours. It's a scratch on the skin, scratch wound. And by adding the Callison, you can see how fast you have the healing process. Epidermal cells exposed to Callison were very much more proliferative and migrated faster. All the questions I can see popping in will be answered at the end. Don't worry. So that's very interesting because, again, it's in vitro and people say, okay, in vitro, we don't know how people are reacting in real life. We'll get to there. Again, in vitro, and you can see here the difference between the dermal and epidermal fullness. 600% increase. Increase in glycosaminoglycan and water, and obviously if that can do that, that will plumb the skin and increase the hydration. Again in vitro, but again this one is also very interesting. Control Callison, and you can see the difference on the elastin on both sides. That's human eyelid skin derived. And each time we put it more, we apply some Callison, you can see the difference between control, nothing, Callison. It doesn't matter if they are Caucasian or Asian, it reacts the same way. In vitro again, you can see that not only on elastin, but also on hyaluronic acid. Control, Callison, definitely much more hyaluronic acid. And again, Chinese, Caucasian. Ethnicity doesn't have any effect, doesn't change anything. It works on the skin, no matter which skin type we are talking about. Okay, aging skin fibroblast. On culture again, the red is, this part here is just a control group, number of cells, different concentrate, different culture condition. Here it's Callison human derived, and this one is the Callison from the deer. And the deer, I shouldn't say already where it comes from the cord lining, and you can see that you have the same type of result with the Callison product from the cord lining than from human Callison. That in 5 days. So try to do a little study with the platelet-rich plasma, which I still think it should be called plasma therapy, not platelet-rich plasma. That's another story. 11 women were recruited, age 35 to 70. They all had the plasma procedure with injection, first along the zygomatic arch, nasolabial, jawline, then intramuscular, and then more a nappage technique. That is interesting because if I just made a little path, I don't know if some of you watch Dr. Goldman webinar, and one of the first questions he was asked was, what did you try it with platelet-rich plasma? And the last question he was asked was, do you think it could work with microneedling? And basically, what I've done is combining those two questions. That I didn't know he would be asked that, but that was done before. I've done first injection of platelet-rich plasma. The last third technique was more nappage, was more like microneedling. And then I did apply the Callison serum only on one side of the face, on the left side. So they had the plasma on the whole face, and the left side had the serum, the Callison serum added to it. Photos were taken with a medical phone booth, same position as much as possible, same light, UV, and so on. And they had only one treatment, and the photos, and we saw them again 2 weeks later to see how it was going and what was the results. So here you have the first one that was before the treatment. And you can see that this side was just the platelet-rich plasma. Obviously, it's plumber and the skin looks better. But if you look on this side, the improvement on the quality of the skin is even more obvious than the side with just the plasma. So basically, if you consider this and this, it proves the plasma works. Now, UV, the same patient, 2 weeks after, and you can see much less pigmentation under the skin. Compare. So yes, the plasma works. Plasma with Callison works even better. Another one, the old lady, and you can see again, plasma and Callison. Difference of radiance of the skin. Same patient, UV light, and you can see how the pigmentation is different also. So obviously something is happening in that just with one treatment, control 2 weeks later. And again, same thing, you can see the difference. This one is just plasma. This side is plasma and Callison, and you can really see the difference in the skin radiance on the side. Even though this side is better, it's still even more improved with the Callison. Same patient, and you can see that under the skin, the pigmentation disappears. And if you compare plasma, compare this time plasma plus Callison, it's even better. And it's very important nowadays because people are locked down, they cannot go out, they cannot have their treatment as they want. So if you can have a product, a treatment that you can do at home and give you the same kind of result on your skin, then you'll be ready for the opening. Another one with a lot of pigmentation, you can see on the left side, and how improved the pigmentation is with the Callison and the plasma. Not the same one. Once again, you can see the improvement here and here, just PRP. Here, nothing. Here, PRP and Callison. One application only. Same one with UV. And we can go on like that. You can see the different skin radiance. Difference in pigmentation under the skin. And it's on this one, it's really amazing how much improvement on the Callison side compared to the PRP alone. Another one, and you can see that even the cheek have more plumpness, and the jawline is more defined. And none of those patients knew what was happening on the left side. Pigmentation, and again, you can see that compared to the plasma alone, there is definitely an improvement. Another one, again, you can see the skin radiance, and in just 2 week time, and without any other treatment, no laser, no radiofrequency, no nothing else. That's for the pigmentation. This one, unfortunately, she couldn't come back to the office, so she sent a photo on her own, but you can still see the difference on both sides. And again, you can see the redness, you can see all the vascular problems she had, and how her skin was improved with the PRP and even more with the Callison. The same with UV light, and you can see the pigmentation under the skin is definitely improved. Radiance, and again, this side without Callison, this side with Callison. See how plumber it looks. Pigmentation. I like this one, that lady, we had just working on the pigmentation. She had the PRP, and again, that was her skin condition before the treatment. Not brilliant. And, oh, can you go back, Nick? Yeah, and that's 2 weeks after, and see how the damage were improved. So it's, yes, the PRP, I love the PRP, but if you just look, for example, here, she's definitely better with the Callison also added to it. And the same one, and we can say that all the vascular problems that she may have before improve with the plasma, and there's the Callison even more. So we ask the patient what they thought of the treatment. They didn't know what was happening first. They thought they had only the plasma and just some serum after. And they all, and that was interesting. I know it's only a patient. It's a small study. They were not prompted, but we all had the same result for all of them. They all said that it was more comfortable. The skin was less irritated, it was less swollen. And within the 2 weeks, when I saw them again to assess them again, they all said that the result was better, the skin was clearer, and the skin tone was improved. So it was interesting to see what was their view on that. And they even sent me some testimonial, that's from the photo you've seen before, fewer blemishes on my face. I could see from the high-def photo that the skin damage on that side, which had the serum, was less on the right side. At the risk of using a cliche, my complexion acquired freshness that can be described as glowing. So basically, I will answer your question now because I see that there is quite a lot of chat. I love the plasma. I've been working and I keep on working with plasma full-time. Well, it was full-time until we were blocked with the COVID. Plasma contains those growth factor into stem cells. Fine, stem cells and growth factor are even used now from the plasma to help to treat COVID people. So if it can do that much for strongly damaged lung cells, I'm sure that we can have some result on the skin. Now, regarding the Callison, which is basically the topical form of growth factors, obviously it makes sense to join forces and to have the continuous action at home with the Callison once you had the in-clinic treatment after the plasma, and that without having to resort to laser or heavy equipment. Laura, up to you.
Thank you, Dr. Sister. So we're going to go through some of the questions in the Q&A and the chat. If you do have any questions, please feel free to write these in here. Or you'll notice at the bottom of your screen there's a raise hand button. So you can click this and then we can unmute you and you can ask Dr. Sister your question directly. So we've got one question here. Okay, so is there a treatment protocol? How often should patients apply Callison serum at home?
Well, okay, so if they're using the Callison at home, they have to use it every day. It's a daily use. And I agree with what Dr. Goldman said in his last webinar. Men tend to use it once a day. Women will use it more freely, I would say. I have one pot of Callison in my bathroom, still not finished. My wife already went through 3. That gives you an idea. But yes, it is a daily routine. The same way you brush your teeth daily, you use your cream daily. But if you use a cream, use a good one. Use one that is scientifically, really science behind it. Give the results.
Okay. There's another one here. Do you use any activation methods for PRP, and which one is the best you've experienced?
Okay. That's a very interesting question because there is still a big fight between different schools regarding the activation. It was thought for quite some time that calcium activator was needed, a must. It seemed that in the view of the latest studies, we don't need really the calcium activator because there is still some calcium with a different channel in the plasma, and that should be enough to activate the platelets. So depending on which equipment you are using, you do use calcium to activate or you don't. I think it doesn't really make a difference. I was using calcium, I'm not using calcium activator anymore. Now, in terms of which one is the best system, that's a commercial question, and I leave that to others.
Okay.
I don't want to say bad things about someone, so I'd rather not answer with that one.
Okay, so we've had quite a few questions asking about whether you can see the benefits with Callison alone and without PRP. And for people who don't offer PRP in their clinic but do microneedling, can you see the same results?
Okay, so very simple. I will give you an example. My wife cannot see a needle without fainting, even on television. So it's very hard to do PRP for her. Just to take some blood, she's going to faint. So we're not doing it very often. But she's using Callison every day, twice a day. Mm-hmm. And nobody wants to believe her age. And yes, you can have the same type of result on the long term with a Callison without adding the plasma. Plasma would ask like a booster, I would say, before using the Callison. But if you use a Callison on a regular basis, you would have the same result on the skin, on the fibroblast, on hyaluronic acid, on the plumpness, on the small line, and so on. And the second part of the question was?
So with microneedling.
Can you use it with microneedling?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. In fact, we are not allowed to inject the serum, the Callison serum. Not a stupidity, but that's another subject. But if you do microneedling and you apply the serum, it will penetrate through the little tiny holes from the microneedling. So yes, it will be even more beneficial. So microneedling and Callison serum, if you don't do plasma, definitely plus.
Okay. So does PRP with low leukocyte count provide superior results for face rejuvenation?
When I do PRP, I said I don't like the term PRP anymore because I'm using the whole of the plasma, the platelet rich and the platelet poor. So it's not even a question of, and it's a question of amount. Let's say that I will take the analogy from Dr. Renat in Russia. If you have 1 cup of coffee, you have so much caffeine. If you have 2 cups of coffee, you have double amount of caffeine. When I'm using the plasma, I'm injecting deep, I'm injecting intramuscular, and then I'm injecting superficially. So I need quite a lot of plasma, quite a lot of caffeine. Mm-hmm. That gives a better result. I don't really care, and I don't do a blood test before to see how many thrombocytes they do have, because I will have so much plasma injected that I know that I will have enough. And the fact of the centrifugation, we obtain at least 2 to 3 times what is in the native blood. That was the bad system. The best system goes up to 8 times what is in the native blood in terms of platelets.
Okay. So we have Monica. Just going to unmute.
Question?
Oh, 1 second. Okay, should we go? We'll do one question just while we're sorting that out. So someone said that they hear a lot about PRF being a better treatment than PRP. What is your feeling on this?
PRF, platelet-rich fibrin. You have a lot of different names now, platelet-rich fibrin, and there is different names. It depends how you prepare it. It depends how you want to use it. There is even a way to make your plasma as a gel to inject it instead of a filler. That will be called plasma lifting. Another technique. Platelet-rich fibrin, personally, may be better for dentists. I tried myself. I had a problem on Achilles tendon, and I had 1 injection of platelet-rich plasma, and 2 weeks later of fibrin-rich plasma. It was definitely more painful, and it didn't make any difference. We have studies showing that the plasma, the thrombocyte, the platelets, when activated, will generate enough fibrin, so there is no real need of having a fibrin-rich plasma. It's, again, a new marketing thing, and we need to change things from time to time to make it new. I don't think it really makes much of a difference. Maybe yes for dentists when they have to put it in a socket to regenerate more of the bone, but that's a different story.
Okay.
But in terms of skin, the fibrin is not what we need. We need more fibroblast stimulation, we need more collagen, we need more elastin.
Okay, so we've had quite a few questions just on how and when you apply the serum in the clinic before or after PRP. So your sort of exact treatment protocol. So
I do the plasma injection first. Well, first I clean the skin, disinfect the skin. Fine, then I do the plasma all over. And when that is done, I then apply the plasma immediately on the skin everywhere, because I want to benefit from the tiny hole from the needles. So it will penetrate even better. So plasma first, Callison serum right after. And then when they go home, they can have their daily routine with Callison cream, morning and evening, depending on the quality of the skin.
Okay. How should clients alternate or incorporate vitamin A into the routine with Callison if it should be used daily?
I'm not a big fan of adding more product. What I like with Callison is you have a product that delivers what it says on the box. And I don't see the point of adding more and more and more product. Yes, some protection factor. That's a different story. But beside that, I don't see the point of adding vitamin C or whatever you don't need, and definitely not tretinoid to damage the skin.
Okay, and have you done any studies on PRP and Callison for hair restoration?
For hair restoration, yes. It's can't call it a study because, again, you can't inject, you're not allowed to inject Callison, so you have to inject the plasma and then to apply and massage the serum through it. I can't say if it gave better or not better result with the serum. I'm itching to inject it. So then I will be able to answer correctly. But it's really, really, really itchy.
Okay, so we have another question. What are the most clinically important objective parameters in skin quality that can be easily and non-invasively measured to demonstrate the efficacy of treatments?
The transepidermal water loss, that gives an idea of the hydration of the skin. Obviously, if the skin, if you lose plumpness, if you lose volume, the skin will not be as tense, and the loss of density will lead to less hydration, therefore a more dry skin. So if you increase the volume of hyaluronic acid and you restore the plumpness, you will have a second effect on the hydration. So the transepidermal water loss is a good way to measure before and after a treatment. Anisotropy is the direction of the small line when the skin is getting more wrinkly. Again, those are two very simple ways to measure it. And obviously, the medical booth where you can have photos before with the same light, UV, normal light, so you can assess the patient.
Okay. What volume of PRP would you typically administer to a full face in one treatment?
10 mils.
Nice and easy.
Fast answer.
Yeah.
Yes, if I want to be able to inject deep contact to the periosteum, deep contact to the periosteum, deep contact to the periosteum, because as we age, we are losing bone structure. And the first studies in the 90s show that plasma would increase the bone density by 20% in 6 months. So if I want to stop that bone loss, I would inject deep. Then they use it in sports medicine for tendon and ligaments, and there is a lot of muscle, tendon, ligament in the face, so I inject intramuscular. Then I inject intradermal, that for more the epiderm. So I need to have a lot of product to be able to do the 3 level.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we are going to go to the floor. So if anyone does have a question that they'd like to ask, just click the raise hand button at the bottom.
Sorry.
Okay, Anna, we'll just unmute you.
No question.
It takes a while for it to unmute. Sorry about this.
No problem.
Cool.
We're all homebound, so we can stay the whole day.
Okay, we also have Mohammed. That might be, you can unmute.
Nobody asked about the origin of the cord lining.
Yeah, someone did actually. I think we answered that in the chat. They were asking whether it was human stem cells or sort of where the stem cells.
No, it's from the red deer from New Zealand, and they are very ethically treated. They're very, very lucky red deer there. And it was proven that the umbilical cord from the red deer have the same growth factor as the human one. So we're not harvesting because we're not allowed to inject or to apply human products. So we can, by using that umbilical cord from the red deer, which is waste, so it's the animal is not harmed. Usually it's either discarded or they eat it themselves. It's harvested, and that's how Callison came to the market, with the same quality of stem cells that we would have with human. It's still human, but animal, and without any risk of allergies or side effects so far.
Amazing. Okay, so I think any other questions that we haven't answered, we will collate them and send them out in an email to everyone. But thank you all so much for joining, and thank you, Dr. Sister, for your time. I hope you have a great rest.
My pleasure.
Any other questions, please email them to customerservice@callison.com, or alternatively, you can contact your local account representative from Callison. Our next webinar will be on the 14th of May with Dr. Beatrice Molina. So there'll be an email going out with a link to register. So we'd love for you all to join that. There'll be a short feedback form at the end. So if you get a chance, please fill that out. And I hope you will stay safe and are well. And we'll see you all very soon.